Hello, our dear students, and welcome back to this set of TV sessions. Today we'll be covering session 4, which is about urban exodus. I am very pleased to welcome my dear student, Maysoon.
Thank you.
Welcome again. Hope you are doing well.
I'm doing great.
Okay. Maysoon, do you live in the city or in the countryside?
Actually, I live in the city.
You live in the city. Are you satisfied with your life in the city?
Yes, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. Good. Maysoon, I would like to begin by showing you these statements. I would like you to read and choose the statement or the alternative you think is the right one. Generally, people tend to, and you are given 3 alternatives. Read and choose.
Shall I start?
Please do.
Okay, generally people tend to avoid leaving their hometowns, whatever happens.
Oh, you started with B.
With B.
Because that's what's happening nowadays, yes.
Or migrate from the city from the countryside to the city, that's
okay.
A. Or migrate from the city to the countryside. I think generally people tend to migrate from the countryside to the city.
So you think that the most general tendency
Yes.
of people is migrate or move from the countryside
To the city.
to the city, right. If we take into consideration the present exceptional circumstances, then even B would make sense.
Yes.
I mean, avoid leaving their hometowns, whatever happens, in order not to catch the virus or make it spread.
Yes, but people cannot move.
That's
they cannot
right.
go to the
That's
countryside
right.
now.
So you opt for A.
Yes, I think
That's
most
your final
people,
choice.
Move from the countryside to the city.
Let's see. So in general, people tend to migrate from the countryside to the city.
To the city, yes,
That's
absolutely.
right. Most people take this or show this tendency or this desire. The question that comes to our mind is, if you ask about a reason or a purpose, which WH word do you use?
Why?
Why? You are right. So why move to the city?
Actually, because of many reasons. Because in the city we have maybe more amenities,
Okay.
more facilities.
Right.
Like people, if they want to entertain themselves, they find so many places like cafes, more restaurants.
That's right.
More leisure centers or sports centers, shopping malls, theaters,
Exactly.
cinemas, and even services, hospital, companies, firms, different.
What about young people? Those who have finished their studies or
University, yes, this is mainly education.
Education reasons?
I actually intend to mention it. So first, because we have more amenities, more facilities. I think also because in the city we have better prospects, better job opportunities.
Better job or employment opportunities,
yes.
That's right.
In the city it's easier to get a job than in the countryside.
Yes.
And I think that, I think also that there are more jobs available in the city than in the countryside.
That's right. Actually, you are reminding me of a Tunisian rap singer who sang a song about this migration from the countryside to the city and particularly to the capital. You know the song?
I think I
And you know
heard
the singer?
I know him, but I just don't remember the name.
He's so famous among people your age.
It's a great song. Yes,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Coming from the countryside to the capital, he
to
said.
the capital, yes. The capital
And he
center.
depicts in a very emotional way the suffering and the problems that this kind of people face when
Yes.
they go to the city.
Because there are regional disparities.
Oh, of course.
So
yeah, it's not easy to get used to the new life.
Yes. I think another reason is,
yes.
as you
You've
stated,
got more reasons?
Yes, better education.
Better education opportunities.
Better schools and better
conditions.
school facilities. And nearly all universities are in the city.
Right.
So people, or as you said, teenagers who want to go to university, it's better for them to live in the city than in the countryside.
Okay.
And I remember in Unit 2, when talking about education, in the unit of that talks about education,
Yes.
I remember we saw together that we have higher rates of dropping out of school
True.
in rural areas
True.
or in the
True.
countryside because we have less school facilities, they are remote, etc. So
there are fewer education facilities in the country than in the city.
yes. Yes, I
That's
think
right.
also there are better roads, modern means of transport, and it is easier for people to get around when in the city than in the countryside.
Totally right.
So these are the reasons that come to my mind now.
Yeah, it's not wonder that you cling to living in the city. Let's see whether the reasons you mentioned will appear on the screen or not. So first reason, better prospects, better job opportunities. You did mention that.
Yes.
Second reason, better standards of living. What do you mean by that?
It means we have more facilities, more amenities. There are places to go for entertainment, shopping malls, etc.
Could we make a compound noun instead of saying standards of living?
A compound noun?
Yes.
With the standard of living? Living standards.
Living standards. Good student. Next. More amenities and facilities in the city, and you mentioned that. Nothing to add. Well done, Maysoon. Better education. Cannot agree more. There are better education facilities, especially
yes.
higher education. Wider choice.
Even high schools. They are equipped with technology.
That's
for
right.
their students.
In the countryside, students might walk long distances, kilometers.
And it's among the reasons that they drop out
sometimes. So
commuting
to school and back is tiring and does not encourage parents to send their kids to school.
Yes, absolutely.
Better roads and modern means of transport, you mentioned that. Now, the movement of people from the countryside to the city, do you know what it is called?
No, but
I'll help you.
Yes.
I'll help you. I'll give you the initial letters of the two words that make up the name. So things are getting easier now, Maysoon?
Yes. The title of the lesson is helping me.
So go ahead.
Because it talks about urban exodus.
And this is?
And the opposite of urban is rural, so I guess it's rural exodus.
Which one is related to the country?
Rural.
Rural exodus. So
we saw this before.
Excellent. Let me check. Well done.
Rural
so it's
versus
rural
urban,
exodus.
country versus city life.
And we cannot deny the fact that there are people also who make the opposite move or the reverse move from the city to the countryside. It is true that in terms of figures or rates, they do not represent a majority, but the number is increasingly getting higher and higher. So
I don't think these are teenagers or...
Yeah, maybe older age range. Maybe, yes,
old
you are
people,
right.
Maybe.
Yes. What type of exodus do you think this is, this reverse move from the city to the country?
I can guess. If it is the opposite of rural exodus, it might be urban exodus.
Urban exodus, let me check. You guessed right, and you did not need to look at the initial letters. Splendid as always.
Thank you.
That's very good. You did say that not many people are tempted by moving to the country, unless you said they are elderly people or retired people. That's right. We are going to try to come up with the definition of urban exodus. I'm going to provide you with a short definition with a few missing words in the box, which you'll have to add to the paragraph.
Okay.
So the words are dwellers, healthy and movement, and this is the paragraph to complete. Could you read it, please?
Yes. Shall I start?
Please do.
Okay. Urban exodus is the movement of city dwellers from the city to the countryside, looking for healthier and more peaceful conditions of life. It's easy.
It looks easy, but let's check. So it's the movement, or we used another word that begins with M.
Migrating.
The migration.
The migration, the noun, yes.
Yes, of city dwellers. Are you familiar with the word dwellers?
No, but I could guess it from the context. It cannot be healthier, it cannot be...
so city dwellers?
I may understand these are people who live in the city, resident or inhabitant of the city.
Well done. And the last word is obviously looking for
because we have more peaceful and parallel structure. We need the comparative form here.
Well thought of. I like your strategy, and it is a very fruitful one. Now, you are going to be exposed to a passage. You're going to read it, and then you'll have to decide whether this passage deals with the push or the pull factors of urban exodus. The words push and pull are written differently, and I'm sure they ring the bell. Yes,
we saw them in the lesson, I think Unit 3, Lesson 6, the brain drain.
Okay.
Yes, push factors are the disadvantages. These are the factors that push someone to leave a place, and mainly they are negative sides or negative factors that force the person to leave a place and go or seek to live in another place. The pull, they
attract you, so they must be the advantages.
They should be the advantages of the life in the countryside.
Here it's in the countryside.
Yes.
Okay.
So I should now read and
decide whether the text speaks about the push factors, that is the disadvantages of life in the city,
from
life in the city, or the pull factors, the advantages of life in the countryside.
Countryside, yes, okay.
You read the text, please.
Okay. The surge in the number of young families living in London was revealed today. An official report shows that 25 to 44 age group is leading the mass migration to the countryside, suggesting that the urban exodus is being led by young parents and their children. So it's not old people.
Yeah, exactly.
There, the atmosphere is vibrant and the rural economy is booming despite the crisis in farming. Thus, new jobs have been created in the last decade. The report shows that men in the countryside enjoy better health and longer life expectancy as they outlive their urban counterparts by 18 months. Peak levels of harmful ozone in the countryside air has fallen by about 30%, and populations of wild birds have leveled out after 2 decades of decline, indicating a clean environment and a good air quality.
I think it's easy for you to answer.
Yes, I think it is with the pull factors.
The pull factors, that is?
That is the advantages of the countryside or the advantages of life in the countryside.
Could you mention some of the advantages mentioned here?
Yes, I can see longer life expectancy, so better health and longer life expectancy.
Good.
So people outlive their urban counterparts by 18 months.
Good.
I can also see that we talk about the air quality, so it fallen by about 30%.
That's right. So cleaner air.
Cleaner air. And I can also see that the atmosphere is vibrant.
That's right.
Vibrant, maybe, I know the words, when something is vibrant, it's colorful, so maybe it's lively.
Or the kind of relationship between people.
Yes, so these are the advantages that I can see in this. Maybe the economy is booming, helping people to
it's no longer limited
jobs.
to farming.
Yes.
Right. So you definitely go for
pull factors.
Let's see. The text deals with the pull factors, that's good, of urban exodus, that is the advantages of country life. You did mention the advantages mentioned in the text. Let's check whether the ones that will appear were mentioned in the text. So the first one, better health, fresh air and a clean environment. You picked out this advantage a few minutes ago, that's good. The second one, longer life expectancy. And you did mention that. It means people live
by the way, it's
longer.
A new word, but I could understand the meaning because the sentence already is giving us another word, outlive their counterparts. So I could just guess the
You came
meaning.
up to the meaning yourself.
And
well
I hope it's the right meaning.
It is the right meaning. Actually, life expectancy can be used in geography and can be used in different contexts. We say that, for example, women have got longer life expectancy than men. It means they live longer. Of course, on average. Third, a vibrant atmosphere, and you did mention that. Now, could you add other benefits of life in the countryside which were not mentioned in the text?
Yes, maybe the slow pace of life. I think that life in the countryside often moves slowly.
That's right.
Which is more relaxed, and so it is more relaxed and less stressful.
That's right.
Another maybe advantage is the strong community.
People are close to each other.
People have very close relationship with each other. They know each other very well, which create a great or a good or a big support network. So they are very close. They know each other very well, and it's strong community and a close and strong support network.
That's all.
I think it's quite calm.
It is.
It's not noisy. There is no traffic, no
It
industry, no building work, nothing. So it's quite calm.
Yes.
And maybe the food is healthier, fresh,
that's right.
organic.
Organic food, healthier food. Homemade bread, for example.
Yes.
Most country women especially are good at making bread at home, baking bread at home.
And life in the countryside is cheaper.
Cheaper, that's right.
It's
and safer, and safer. Have you ever been robbed of your mobile in the city?
Yes.
Yes, me too.
Not only mobile
Me too.
phones. So.
Money as
more
well.
violence. They have more
That's
violence
right.
in the.
You nearly mentioned all the benefits, but let's check. So yes, slow pace of life, less stressful condition than in the city. Lower crime rates. We spoke about the issue of
But
safety.
yes, I didn't mention this. You just helped me.
Yeah, I just drew your attention to it.
Yes.
Quiet and peaceful surrounding. That's your
Less
idea,
noise,
especially
less
people,
traffic.
romantic people. It calls for inspiration and it triggers
Writers,
imagination.
poets.
That's right. Cheaper cost of life and stronger sense of community. So you mentioned most of them.
So I need a bonus.
You'll get it, don't worry. Do not be demanding. I know people in the city are demanding, and people in the country, all students actually. And it's your right because your performance has been brilliant so far.
It.
You deserve it, it's not a favor. Now I would like you to match each word in A with its meaning in B. Have a look at the words in A and look for their equivalents in B.
Okay, so the first one is vibrant,
Yes.
and I guess I could understand its meaning, and you helped me also. So it should be exciting, lively.
Exciting and lively. What's the noun of vibrant? We saw it before.
What's that?
The noun of vibrant.
I can't remember.
Vibrancy. We saw it in
Vibrancy.
the text about Huda Baraka, the Egyptian student who had the experience of studying both in the UK and in the United States.
I can remember
And
now.
she was comparing the two systems, and she was showing support for the British system rather than the American one.
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So yes, exciting and lively. Well done. Good start. Second word.
Well, booming is a new word, but you taught us that if it is ing, you should look for an ing,
Okay.
an adjective, I look for an adjective, so I'm doing this. Okay?
Great.
I think
Applying
it's,
what we studied.
Yes, booming maybe. It was with the economy. It appeared
Booming
the
economy, that's
is
right.
booming. So I think it is growing or being successful. or
There's
more
another word
successful.
with TH.
Thriving.
Thriving. Well done. Next, please.
Oh, that's an easy word.
A
We
decade.
get used to it.
Yes, a decade.
We've seen it so many times in many lessons, and a decade is a period of 10 years.
Yes. If I tell you I am 5 decades and a half old.
50 and half? 50.
55.
55.
Do not shout.
Half a decade.
Do not shout.
55.
Everybody would know about my age.
55.
55 years.
55.
25.
Yes, 25. Sorry, sir.
So it's 10 years, yes. What about 4?
You explained this to
I
me.
did.
You gave the example of women have longer life expectancy.
And you
so
liked it.
I liked it, of course. So I guess it's the number of years a person is likely to live.
Exactly.
So, and
Definitely right. To outlive somebody.
it appeared in the same sentence. So
It
they
did.
have longer life expectancy because they outlive
That's
their
right.
urban counterparts by, I think, 18 months.
Yeah, 1 year and a half. You are
so
right.
they live longer.
To live
They
longer,
live
to outlive somebody.
Which is C.
To outlive somebody, to live longer, you are right. Actually, out means more or longer. So there is to outperform somebody, to perform better than him, to outrun somebody,
It's like over.
to run faster than him. There is even to outgrow. My little brother has outgrown his clothes, especially during this lockdown period. He spends
So
all his
many
time
people
eating.
are, yes.
What
They
about
are just sitting and eating.
yeah.
No activity, no sport.
Absolutely.
Just eating.
Yes. What about peak?
Well, peak is a word that I don't know.
Okay.
So I will do the 7 first. Already
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
left with,
That's a nice strategy.
I'm left with 2 words.
Okay,
And
so
the word number 7, the
do
word,
it the way you think is right.
yes, is a word I know, decline.
Decline,
So it's decrease.
decrease, and get back
And,
to 6.
I guess peak is the highest level.
The highest level.
Even I'm not
So
sure.
the
but
highest
it
level
should
is
be
correct. The peak of the mountain,
To the top.
the summit, the top.
The top.
And decline, as you said, decrease. So you did a wonderful job. I can only applaud your performance, Maysuna.
Thank you.
Now, we focus on the pull factors of urban exodus because those were the ones mentioned in the text. Now, could you add some push factors? And here we'll be focusing on what?
On the disadvantages of the city life.
Of city life.
These are the factors that force people to
Exactly. Life in
live
the city has many drawbacks.
drawbacks,
Can
okay.
you mention some of them?
Yes, it's easy, just the opposite of, so I always say the advantages of the country are the disadvantages,
Absolutely right.
of the...
Absolutely right.
So if we talk about the slow pace of life, I think we talk here about the fast pace of life.
That's right.
So it's less relaxed and more stressful.
Good.
More pollution,
That's
air
right.
pollution, mainly because of traffic, road transport.
And still you cling to living in the city.
Yes, of course.
Okay,
Of course,
carry
as a
on.
student, my future is here. It cannot be in the countryside.
Right.
Another drawback, I think, noisy and stressful. You drew my attention to the lower crime rates in the countryside.
True.
So I think we have higher crime rates in the country, in the city.
In the city.
Sorry, so we have more violence.
So life is less safe in the city
less
than in
safe,
the country.
less secure in the city than in the country. I also think the cost of life is more
It's
expensive.
costly, exactly.
It's expensive cost of life.
That's right.
Now you can
High cost of life.
Yes, everything is expensive.
That's right.
What else? And relationships between people.
Cold relationships.
Cold relationships.
Do you know your next door neighbor's name?
Yeah, sometimes they do not even agree.
That's right.
When they meet in the corridor, they don't even say good
people
morning.
in the countryside are closer to each other, show
because
more
maybe
intimate
of
and warmer and
they
more
are more
spontaneous
close.
relationships.
Yes.
Closer.
Maybe because people in the city are always in a hurry.
That's right. They are rushing.
Yes, the pace is, so they have no time to
True.
for maybe warm relationships.
Yes.
These are the drawbacks.
Yeah, you nearly mentioned everything. So first drawback, so high crime rates, so life is not safe in the city, you are right. So there are robberies, there are crimes of killing and all sorts of violence, etc. Bullying, cold relationships with people, we mentioned that. Pollution in the city, did you mention that?
Yes, I said air pollution, mainly because
mainly.
of traffic and road
Definitely
transport.
right. Fast and stressful pace of life, that's right. People are in a hurry. Expensive cost of life, you insist on that. Unhealthy food.
I didn't mention this.
But you spoke about healthy food in the country.
Healthy food, yes.
So food in the city is
people
unhealthy.
always resort to fast food
That's
because
right.
of the
That's
pace
right.
of
Which
life.
is not good for health. Huh?
We saw this in lesson 1.
Exactly, good memory. Overcrowded and noisy conditions in the city, especially in these circumstances, we have to avoid overcrowded conditions so that the virus does not spread.
That's why it's quieter.
That's right. So you nearly mentioned everything, that's great. But does this mean that life in the countryside is perfect, Maysoon?
Of course, it is not.
Of course not.
Nothing is perfect. And there are, I think, many drawbacks. Actually, I think it's boring. For example, you said you insist that despite all the advantages
you
of
would
the
feel
country,
bored.
Yes, I think
you might go for a holiday, but not to stay forever or permanently.
Yes, if it is a temporary period of time to relax,
you
maybe
can't stand
to get
the
rid
boring
of stress.
Conditions.
But I cannot live there permanently. So I think it's boring.
Yes.
And it's boring because of the lack of facilities, of shopping centers, entertaining centers or
recreational facilities.
Yes, facilities. I also think that although it is good to have strong relationship, to have strong community or close relationship or warm relationship with each other or with other people, sometimes you lack privacy in the countryside. So
people in the country are nosy.
Know everything
they keep poking their nose into other people's private life.
They know everything about you, so you have no privacy.
That's right. They spy on you. They gossip about you.
They
That's
don't
right.
have to spy. Everything is... they know everything about... It's easy to know everything about...
That's right. So you cannot enjoy your privacy.
Yes. And I think also the roads. The infrastructure
is falling and bad.
And if you live in the countryside, you'd better have your own means of transport to get around. Otherwise, it would be difficult to move from one place to another because they lack means modern means of transport.
And even economy, it's based on
farming,
limited to farming.
Yeah, of course.
And farming is not easy, by the way. They have to get up very early at dawn. Imagine in winter, snowy weather, or in summer, burning sun, and they had to expose themselves to hard weather conditions.
Yes.
So it's not easy at all. It's really tough,
And
isn't
it's
it?
not easy to find a job.
That's right.
There aren't many jobs available.
Yes, maybe there should be more
schools, also the
investments
education,
in the
fewer
countryside.
facilities. So I think it's not the perfect place for a teenager or for a graduate,
to start his
someone
career
who wants to
or
start
his
a
life.
career.
Yes, unless he's interested in farming and he's devoted to it.
Yes, and it's
Good.
exceptional.
You mentioned lots of beautiful ideas. What I suggest you do now is have a look at the expression that will appear one after the other. You'll be exposed to 7 different expressions, but only 5 of them apply to the drawbacks of life in the country. 2 of them do not apply to the drawbacks of the country.
It means they apply to the city,
normally,
to the drawbacks of the city.
Exactly. So just identify or recognize or point out to the ones that relate to the drawbacks of country life.
Okay.
We begin with the first one.
Busy roads and heavy traffic. That's the city life.
That's the city.
Of course, that's a drawback of the city.
That's your daily battle.
Yes.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with
Second.
country life. Fewer amenities, no services. That's a drawback of the country life.
True,
Yes.
true. Third.
Lack of means of entertainment. Still, this is another drawback.
And it is one of the reasons why you don't intend to settle in the country.
Of course. People get bored after a lot of stress,
You are
after
right.
exams,
You are
after
right.
hard
They
work.
need to change the
They need,
atmosphere.
yes, to renew their energy. They need to entertain themselves.
Yes,
so
to
I think
recharge their batteries.
It's important. Entertainment is very important.
Okay. Next.
Cold relationships. This is a drawback of the city life. People in the city have cold relationships.
Okay,
However, in
so
the
it does not apply to the
countryside,
country.
No, it's not.
Next, please.
Bad infrastructure. This is one of the drawbacks of the country life.
One of the serious drawbacks
yes,
of life in the country. Bad infrastructure,
worse,
quality of roads,
the
etc.
roads, yes, the means of transport.
Exactly. Limited job opportunities.
Still, and again, it's a drawback of the countryside.
That's
So
right.
you have less job opportunities, less jobs available, and even people who want to advance in their careers, get
Yes,
promotion,
it's not easy.
have a comfortable life.
They are in deadlock, that's
It's a
right.
bit difficult for them to do this in the country or when they are in the country.
Definitely true. And last,
Lack of privacy.
You mentioned this.
The country life.
In the
Yes,
countryside.
because the community is very close.
That's
so they know
right.
everything about you, and then you have no private
exactly.
life.
So which 2 drawbacks apply to the city, not to the country?
The first one, busy roads and heavy traffic, and cold relationships.
Let's check. Well done. They are colored red. So the others refer to the drawbacks of life in the countryside. Well done. Right, now I would like to express the following statement differently and begin as indicated. Could you read the statement first?
Yes, so despite the healthier life in the countryside, many people still prefer to live in the city.
So despite the healthier life in the countryside, sorry?
Like me.
Like you. Many people still prefer to live in the city. Now, is there a cause and result relationship between?
No, we have a contrast. We have 2 opposite ideas.
So
normally,
there is
if we have, if the life is healthier, we should opt for it. So these ideas
unexpected
do not go
or
together.
illogical result. It doesn't go
Yes.
with the cause. So I would like you to try to express this differently, replacing despite by although.
Yes, we saw this before, so
we did.
consolidated.
We did.
So I think we can say, although it is healthier to live in the countryside, many people still prefer to live in the city.
Okay, let's
Or
check.
we can also say, can we also say...
Your answer is correct. Could you read it again, please?
Although it is healthier to live in the countryside, many people still prefer to live in the city.
You have another possibility.
Yes, I think you can say, although life in the countryside is healthier, many people still prefer to live in the city.
That's good. So what's the difference between despite and although, Maysoon?
After despite, we have the healthier life.
So we have a noun. We need a noun.
We need a noun. However, after although, we have subject plus verb, it is or life is. So after although, we have a clause.
A clause, excellent.
Yes. Even though the meaning is the same, the structure is different.
Well done. Nothing to add. Actually, although, or though, or even though plus clause, that is subject and verb.
So please take notes.
Of course. Whereas with despite and in spite of, we need a noun or a verb plus ing. These, of course, are used to express opposition or contrast, or as you said,
ideas,
a cause and an unexpected or any logical result. Well done, Maysoon. So far you are doing a good job.
I have homework.
Homework, of course, I'm sure you will get involved in this homework assignment because it will give you the chance to release your own opinions, emotions, and attitudes. Could you read the topic first?
Okay, your friend thinks of moving to the countryside. He sent you an email to ask for your opinion about his decision. Write him a 12-line reply to express your attitude towards his choice and give arguments to support your point of view.
So you are supposed to write a reply to your friend.
And it should be 12 lines.
Who intends to move to the countryside. A 12-line one, yes.
No more.
No more. You have to stick to the recommendations and instructions in the official exam as well, please.
Of course.
So you are going to give your opinion. Either encourage him to move to the current country or discourage him. So it's essentially an opinion writing, isn't it?
Yes.
Right.
So it's
what do we use to express opinion?
And general we use, or the most used ones are I think that or I believe that. There are also other expressions like in my opinion or for me, as I see, to my mind.
To my mind.
To my mind. We can also say in my personal point of view.
Beautiful expressions. Okay, so you varied expressions of opinion. You mentioned most of them. So there's I think or I believe that. In my opinion, to my mind, I would say that. In my personal point of view, from my personal point of view, as far as I am concerned, as for me and as to me.
Can I say according to me?
No, you can't. It's always according to somebody else.
So it's according to you, according to him, but not according to me.
So this one should be in my opinion. It's just repeated, but we say from my point of view.
Yes.
Right.
In my personal opinion, just we added the word. So we don't say, as you said, according to me.
It's always according to somebody else.
According to you, but not according to me.
So in the introduction, you state your opinion clearly without giving arguments. So for example, what can you say?
I think that you'd better stay in the city.
Okay.
And here I don't give any argument. Or I can say, I think that there are good reasons to stay in the city, or it's a bad idea to move to the countryside.
I would encourage you to stay in the city rather than move to the countryside.
And I stop.
That's right. So you just state your opinion. Of course, in the next part, you support your opinion with
arguments. I should give as many arguments as possible.
Okay.
And
do you need
to
link between those arguments, to use connectors?
Of course.
So
they should be linked.
What should you use before the first argument?
Before the first argument, generally we use first, to begin with, to start with, or firstly.
That's good. Let's check. So first, to start with, to begin with, in fact, firstly, first and foremost, if you want to highlight one of the reasons.
And there is a comma. There is always a comma after the linkers, because it affects the evaluation. It affects my mark.
Yes, the student will be penalized for that. You are definitely right. So pay attention to capitalization and punctuation and spelling. This is part of the mechanics.
Yes.
Now, you need linkers of what?
Addition, mainly, because I'm here going to add arguments. We have the same idea. Maybe I will be talking about the advantages of the city. So, like besides, like moreover, furthermore, in addition.
That's good. You have plenty of linkers of addition.
I may also use enumeration linkers like second, third, but it's better to use here, as it is an argumentative text or essay. It's better to use to vary.
That's right.
The linkers.
So the linkers were already mentioned. Besides, moreover, furthermore.
And we can alternate. The first argument besides, the second one I can use furthermore, then in addition. Added to this, etc.
You don't have to mention lots of arguments. You know, it's just 12 lines. So
already I'm going to use reinvest the arguments we've seen together in the lesson.
Exactly. And you might give some examples. But before that, before the last argument, you use finally, eventually. What else?
And last but not
Last but not least.
One of them or this thinker comes
Yes.
just before the last argument.
I told you that you might need to give some examples. In this
Yes.
case, what do you use?
For example, for instance, such as.
That's good.
So these are expressions we use when giving examples.
So, for example, for instance, such as, that's good. Right. Then, what are you supposed to write about?
Conclusion.
Conclusion. What are you supposed to say in it?
Maybe I restate my opinion, I recommend something.
So you remind the reader of your opinion, you restate it in different words. Do you give further arguments in the conclusion part?
No,
you don't.
No, finish with the arguments. We never give arguments in the conclusion.
Okay.
You already taught us and you said this so many times, sir, so I know it now. I never do it.
Well done, you learned the lesson.
I never do it.
So in the conclusion part, you just restate your opinion, you sum it up,
yes.
You sum up your ideas, and you may start your conclusion with?
To sum up as a conclusion.
To conclude, in short, yes. In a nutshell, for all those reasons,
yes.
And you restate your opinion. Remember, of course, the criteria that should be taken into consideration before you are granted your mark. So first, adherence to context, that is, to content, that is, you have to speak about what you are asked to speak about. Here you are going to give your opinion about the decision of your friend, and then give arguments for or against that decision.
And so it is important to use,
it is
I
very
think
important.
That, or
exactly.
I believe that,
it's an
otherwise
opinion writing.
It's not
it's an opinion
just
writing.
A paragraph, not an argumentative
That's
paragraph.
right. The second criterion is, of course, language accuracy. And this includes two components or ingredients, which are vocabulary,
appropriate use of vocabulary,
and grammar,
you told
of
us
course.
this also.
And we did speak about the mechanics, including
capitalization, punctuation, and spelling of words.
And spelling, exactly.
The correct spelling of words.
How long will this take you? This homework assignment take you?
I promise to write it as soon as possible, so it won't take long.
I know, especially as it is motivating because you get involved in it and you want to convince your friends.
Say, no, you should not go.
Not to go, please don't go, you will regret it
yes.
later. Stay in the city.
Stay in the city.
Everything is pretty.
Not pretty, but it's better. It's better for his future, for his prospects. For
That's right. I do respect any opinion. We do not judge students' opinions, we judge the quality of what they write.
Language, as it is supported with sound arguments, it will be okay, whatever is the opinion, of course.
And you did mention the fact that in the conclusion, we never include new ideas or arguments. Thank you for reminding us of this.
And thank you, sir, for this good lesson. I really liked it and enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for watching us. Hope you have enjoyed the lesson. May soon see you next time.
See you next time.
My dear students, enjoy your revision a few days from now and you will get back to school. Hopefully, good luck. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.